Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. In my videos, I use both Vedic and traditional Western techniques with tropical astrology, not sidereal astrology. I also use the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis. You can use this video to the best of your advantage by listening to the introduction to understand what the week holds for you, and then going to the timestamps for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a more personalized forecast for the week ahead. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now, there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam. Report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Hello, my beautiful Astro family, and a big Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody watching this video. I hope it is a very festive season for you and that you have much joy with family, with friends, and however you choose to celebrate. Before we begin, I have a special Christmas present for one lucky viewer who has won themselves a solar return report. Now, bear with me because I'm going to have to spell this particular YouTube name out because I certainly can't pronounce it, but it's at D-E-I-R-D-R-E, Deirdre Van, V-A-N, S-T-A-D-E-N. So I'm assuming that's Deirdre Van Staden. 1626. If you are, I'm going to hope this is right, if you're Deirdre Van Staden 1626, you have won yourself a solar return report simply from liking, sharing, and subscribing to my YouTube channel and being here each week to enjoy the astro weather forecasts. So contact me through the contact form at the Guiding Star Astrology webpage and let's set up your solar return report for the year 2024. And congratulations and happy Christmas to Deirdre. So if you would like to go into the entry to win a, sorry, I had to think what for, you need to like, share, and subscribe to go into the entry each month to win a solar return report. So I draw one person every month to win a solar return report if they've commented in the comment section that they have liked, shared, and subscribed to this channel. So liked the video, shared the video, and subscribed to the channel. So without further ado, let's dive right into our weekly focus. So we're going to break down the biggest energies of the week and how they will be playing out. The first one is on the 23rd of December, leading up to Christmas. Mercury is going to retrograde up here into the sign of Sagittarius. So positive thinking and freedom of thought is what Mercury brings us when he's in the sign of Sagittarius. You can get ready for your communications to become more optimistic and positive when he's in the sign of Sagittarius. What a relief, even though it happens to be that Mercury is retrograde. It's still the energy of Sagittarius is present in the Mercury energy. So you can expect your conversations to become more interesting, more mind expanding. We're more willing to paint our point of view with other people now if such discussions serve the purpose of growing our own understanding. So you can expand your mind through talking things out with people and getting different perspectives. Some of us are going to receive new visions for the future that will excite us during this Mercury retrograde period. And once Mercury goes direct in Sagittarius, we can then put action into those visions to make them manifest. How exciting. So don't let other people throw cold water over your ideals now while Mercury is moving through Sagittarius in retrograde, because you're going to show them a thing or two when it turns direct. Embrace your big picture ideas and fully plan and strategize to achieve them. You can do it, my friends. You can do it. After Christmas, so we've got a little bit of a lull then. After Christmas, we're going to have a Venus trine to Neptune. So Here is Venus in the sign of Scorpio, trining Neptune. Actually, she'll be nearly towards the end of Scorpio, about 25 degrees. So let's get it right. There's the trine between these beautiful energies. La-di-da, such a pretty energy. Romance on the 26th of December could be everywhere. From the novel you pick up to read on the train to work, to the song playing in the cafe on your lunch break, to the name on the bottle of wine you grab for dinner. This is synchronicity, not coincidence. This is the energy of Neptune Venus. Everything just seems like butterflies and roses. It's wonderful decadence and beauty. Such a gorgeous energy. One of the loveliest combinations that you can see. Neptune is actually the higher octave, the higher vibrational energy of Venus, and both Venus and Neptune are invested in art, music, dance, relaxation, glamour, beauty, fabulous energy. So indulgence is the name of the game. And of course, this happens to be what we call in Australia Boxing Day. I'm assuming other people in other parts of the world call it Boxing Day. My family Christmas is actually going to be on Boxing Day this year. So I'm looking forward to this because indulge, that is the name of the game under this energy. We can enjoy fine food, refinement, culture, beauty, love. Nothing's off limits. It's all good for us at this time in this fanciful, heady energy of a trine between Neptune and Venus. So go to it and enjoy, my friends. I certainly will be. I hope you will be too. Then the next day on the 27th of December, we have a full moon here in the sign of Cancer at 5 degrees. Wow. Now, I have just done one of the biggest full moon reports I've ever done for my Patreon family, breaking it down for all signs, looking at the fact that the moon is out of bounds, out of the bounds of the sun, along with Mars this week, moving into an out of bounds state. And I've talked about what this means for us. It's very impactful. If you want to find out what that means for your sign, head over to the Patreon family, sign up. It's only $5 a month, or you can just join for 1 month if you prefer, and find out what's going on for your sign. It's particularly potent if you have planets around 5 degrees of Cancer. It's exciting times, very exciting times, I must say. You know, this is just so beautiful to me. This is falling on my Venus placement. Down here 4-5 degrees of Cancer, and it just so happens we're having our engagement party during the subsequent waning of the moon, actually, after this energy forms. So this is on the 27th and our engagement party is on the 30th. So I'm just delighted to be under this influence of full moon on my Venus. This is how it rolls. It's amazing how the skies play out with their different energies. Also on the 27th, we've got something that's not quite so decadently lovely, and that is a Mercury square. Here is Mercury in Sagittarius squaring this Neptune at 25 degrees. Not so fancy. Neptune has a very misty and nebulous energy, and it can really confuse things, particularly relationships with Mercury-ruled people, siblings, neighbors, friends. Don't be surprised if you don't really catch the drift of where these people are coming from or what their agenda is under this influence. The worst case scenario could be that a friend, a sibling, a relative might lie to you or deceive you in some way, and that could really put a strain on things when you're out, you know, maybe celebrating with family at New Year or something like that. Or, you know, if you're feeling into this energy early, when Christmas lunch rolls around. So this aspect can make it very hard to discern what's good for you and what in fact is, what is fact and what is fiction, you know, what communication you can trust and what contracts you should be signing. You know, maybe postponing any major decisions for a few days is the best tactic while this energy plays out. On the same day as the full moon in Cancer. So be aware of those mercurial issues that could be compromised by the rather nasty little square from Neptune there, or with Neptune. Then on the 28th of December, we've got a conjunction here between Mars and Mercury, okay? Whew, deep breaths. Brain going bonkers on the 28th of December, anybody? This is an energy for heightened stimulation of our thinking, our speaking, our learning, and our mental processes, but it's overwhelm. It's like the electricity but in the brain has gone way into overload. So you will be on charge in your mind, thinking really fast, speaking really fast, reacting very quickly to situations and things, because it's like electrified energy. But unfortunately, it also has a reputation for being a bringer of aggressive, argumentative, and rude verbal interactions. I notice this probably more than any other aspect. I notice this in observing the people around me on the day that this aspect forms. I look around me and I just see people being goddamn rude, Nervous tension puts us on edge as well. We get snappy, we put our foot in our mouths. This is not unheard of, and you'll notice it. You'll notice it. If you're aware of what's going on, you can see it playing out in the world around you. So remember, my friends, 28th of December, we have free will. We can choose to use our words for good or our words to harm. We're really, aggressive Mars with our words, Mercury in the shadow side of this energy. So we can use our words for good or for evil. Why not channel your words into something positive on the 28th of December? Verbally fighting for justice or standing up communicatively for those who are unable to. I'm not talking about being a freaking keyboard warrior. No. I'm talking about taking a stand for truth, taking a stand with your words for what is right. Fight for the good, my friends. Fight for the good. And you know what the good is. This energy can be used for like a superpower for our best if we choose to, but it's up to you. Then on the 29th, we have a Mars making a square to Neptune. You can see it's busy, busy, busy in the week after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year. So this is amplified again. Strong desires are now vying for expression within us, especially when related to Neptune's themes, which are unconditional love, soulmate connections, compassion, being a spiritual warrior, and using your own creative initiation to make things happen. You want love and you want it now. You hunger to fight for a compassionate cause, and nothing's going to stop you. And you'll use your words to do it because Mercury's still in a conjunction here. But this is a hard aspect, Mars-Neptune, and so therefore it's not without its challenges. Neptune is often associated with scandal, so you've got to be really careful on the 29th of December that your passions and your actions, Mars, don't lead you into the murky depths of gossip, ruined reputations, hurt and disappointment. Neptune can do that, so integrity, 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 my friends, to try and alleviate that happening. I encourage you, remember this energy is building. Try and keep calm. Seek rationality. Avoid being salacious wherever you can. And cling to your faith in the goodness of the universe. When you feel like exploding like a bomb because somebody's frustrated you or your passions get the better of you, remember the universe has your back. This energy will pass. There's no need to be reactive. And you can perhaps, if you keep conscious about the energy that's within you on this day, you can alleviate any of the potential problems that this might bring about. Finally, we get to the end of the week, 30th of December, that date that I'll be having my engagement party. So excited. This is a restless energy for love because here goes Venus out of Scorpio into the sign of Sagittarius. But it's a restless energy for love in all the right ways. Venus does well in Sagittarius, and her presence here for the coming month speaks to our need to grow and expand through relationships. It's a happy mix of all that's light-hearted in love, with all that's idealistic and all that is noble. That said, it's not necessarily an energy of contentment, but one of sheer relational joy. Venus does very well in Sagittarius, so you might find yourself attracted to people on this day who make you feel expansive and wise and in love with life. We should also approach our finances with generosity for the next month while Venus is here. This is an energy that birthed the phrase, the more that you give, the more you receive. It's an energy of generosity. Now, I'm not talking about emptying your bank account and then sitting, in sackcloth and ashes for the rest of the month. No, it's about, being aware and being conscious, but being a giving person, a charitable person. And it's about believing that the universe will provide for you and your faith will see it manifest. This is the sign of faith. Believe that the universe will provide for you and that there is more than enough for everyone. Cultivate your abundance consciousness, my friends. There is more than enough for everyone. Your faith can see these things manifest now. So live with joy, live with generosity, and live with happiness. Venus in Sagittarius for the coming month. Lovely, lovely, lovely. But I've decided to focus our analysis this week, even though there's so much going on. If you want to find out about the full moon, remember, Patreon family. But I've decided to focus my all signs breakdown this week on the energy between Mars and Neptune. Don't ask me why I chose that, I just did. I should be being, digging into all the happiness that currently is in my very loved up life right now and celebrating and enjoying that. But I like to bring awareness to my YouTube audience of ways we can navigate the difficult energies and attitudes we can cultivate, remedies we can bring about to make our life go smoother. So that's why I think I'm focusing on the Mars, Neptune, which is one of those difficult energies. It's about strong desires. It's about wanting our desires and our passions to, evolve for us right now, not having to wait for them. It is about fighting for a compassionate cause. I am right into that. That's so important. It's about being aware of where our passions can lead us into scandal and gossip and ruined reputations. It's also about keeping calm and seeking rationality, as I said. So let's dive right in. And it's going to be expressing, actually, we find these things expressing through the more inner planet, the faster moving planet usually. So we're going to start with delightful Sagittarius. It is your turn to go first, my friends. So let us make a beginning. Oh, let me get my astro wheel ready. Well, the first house is all about our behavior and our attitude. So, of course, with this energy forming on the 27th, we might have behavior and attitudes that are very passionate, that are very, Mars with Mercury, we're speaking out, we're saying what we think, we're not stopping to analyze it, and our behavior can be very, very passionate and very, at the lowest level, sneaky and malicious when we are combining with Neptune in this way. So just watch that, keep conscious of how you're behaving and how you're interacting with people. There are strong desires here, and the strong desire that comes through relates to the body. So it could be physical desires that you are experiencing. That could look like, just wanting, cocktail after cocktail after cocktail, and you're so hedonistic with it that you don't stop. And that leads to drunkenness and debauchery and goodness knows what. So, strong desires relating to the body. Maybe I was watching a video the other day about people who have way too much plastic surgery, and that not that this is you have a ton of plastic surgery all on the one day here with this, but that's what this energy is. I want to look beautiful, I want to be in my body and look stunning and glamorous, Neptune, and I will cut Mars, what needs cutting to look that way, and then you regret it, and because this is a square. So Mars is to cut, Mars is to have surgery, Mars is to have needles. And Neptune squaring the rising sign here wants to look glamorous. So be careful of that. You might be pulled towards that or desire that and then regret it. Going to get the Botox and you end up with lips that look like a big fat balloon or something like that. So do be careful about those sorts of things at this time. It's also, the first house speaks to what motivates us. So this is, remember I spoke about, having, being a fighter for a just cause. This is a good way to use this energy. And looking around you and seeing what is out of kilter, not just, not righteous, and getting passionate and taking action towards that end. It's conjunct with Mercury, so you might be writing a letter to the government or a letter to a lawyer or something like that because you want to take action around a lack of compassion in the world or injustice that you're seeing in the world. This is a Neptune trining Mars makes you want to fight for a worthy cause or something that you get riled up about because there's a lack of compassion in the world in some way, and that's a great way to use this energy. Let this energy motivate you into action. First house is what motivates us, so you might be motivated. this is also, the first house has to do with the mask that we wear, the first impression that we give. So be wary, because you might be giving off an energy, unbeknownst to you, of being antagonistic, of being, salacious, of being gossipy. Like you're using your words. This is Mercury here, Mars sort of ninga, nasty, and Neptune is gossip, and you might be giving off that energy, that aura, no matter what you do. So just be careful of what you say and how you present yourself to the world. How you initiate things is seen through the first house as well. With Mars getting an activation here, I feel that you will be coming across in a very strong manner, even perhaps an affrontive manner. You might even be giving or initiating under this energy. You could be initiating actions related to your desire for unconditional love and soulmate connections, because Neptune is that higher octave of Venus. Soulmate connections, compassion, and unconditional love, and you might be taking action to that regard, sort of initiating, I really like that person at work, I'm going to initiate a connection, and this can be good. So actually this is nothing to worry about but with a square aspect, there might be some obstacles to overcome in getting what you want out of that. Maybe you want to go on a date with somebody, or that kind of thing. Then this energy is that you want love and you want it now. I want that higher love. I want that soulmate connection. I want it now. I'm not interested in waiting. I'm going to just, be a bull at a gate, and it backfires on you. So be forewarned, forearmed about that. Maybe stand back, observe the situation, and tread carefully. Use your logic. Try and get Mercury in on the act and use your logical self. Okay, so for Mars in the first house, Mars is ruling the fifth house, so definitely love could be activated because Mars is the ruler of the fifth house. But Mars is also the 12th house. If you do come across somebody and you want to take action and you want to give off a good first impression or something under this energy, it's likely they're going to be somebody that you have some karmic affiliation to, somebody that you need to wrap things up with from a past life, because Mars is your 12th house lord. Keep that in mind. There's a great deal of karma with any new love relationships that come in because of what Mars rules. And be very careful about your reputation. If love's what it's looking like, then Neptune making a square, it could be a very deceptive relationship. You could be deceived, or it could be an affair that ruins your reputation. So forewarned, forearmed, be careful who you're kissing under the mistletoe in this week as this energy builds up, my beautiful Sagittarius friends. Alrighty, thank you. Now, Capricorn. No, let's go Scorpio. I'm going to go Scorpio so that we put Mars into the second house, and we can explore how this trine from the higher octave of Venus, Neptune, to Mars in Sagittarius might be affecting you. So for our Scorpio friends, the second house, or for everybody, the second house is about what we need to live. Our food, shelter, clothing, and material things, known as collectively as our resources. Mars, in a trinal aspect with Neptune here, gives us strong desires for stuff. We want stuff. We want it, and we want it now. And it could be anything, where it could be religious artifacts in the sign of Sagittarius. I want to do a little altar in my foyer, and, I must have a statue of Buddha immediately, and there's none in my town where I live, and I'm going bonkers. This is what we're talking about. We get this impetus to have some material thing. It could be something as high-minded as, spiritual books or spiritual artifacts or something like that, but just the same, we are so driven for it, Neptune, Mars square, that, we end up frustrated because we might not be able to find it or whatever. So forewarned, forearmed about that one. This is an energy for, if you want to go for the highest octave of this, getting involved in a righteous fight for something that is valuable, something that is really worthwhile. This is the area of the chart that has to do with self-sufficiency and creating your own resources, and that's something worth fighting about, you know. I don't know about the rest of the world, but here in Australia, and I believe in America as well, they have done all they can to stop us being self-sufficient. I have a friend who's building a house at the moment, and she wants it to be completely off-grid, completely self-sufficient with regard to water and heating and cooling and all that stuff. The cost of doing so, if to meet the regulations in Australia, is astronomical. It is disgusting, and they've done all they can to stop us being able to live independently and self-sufficiently. This infuriates the hell out of me. Can you tell from the way I'm talking? And if anything, Scorpio, this is the kind of thing we could get on board in a fight for. Use your conjunction with Mercury to write a letter to the powers that be, or start a petition, or, you know, some sort of group activism if you want to, even though it's not your 11th house that's being activated here, but you are with your 11th house Lord, so why not? This is Mercury, your 11th house Lord. So you could really start some activism and use this as a fight for a just cause in the house of self-sufficiency. You know, start trying to change the legal parameters around living free and living self-sufficiently. So, yeah, I consider that to be a compassionate cause. Housing is a huge problem in Australia. There's people just haven't got enough homes, and they can't, you know, afford to pay their bills. Their mortgages are out of control. I know it's that way in most of the Western world right now. That's a compassionate cause. Where are we going to live is a resource, a second house. So I'm really kind of getting worked up. I hope you are too, Scorpio, as you listen to this, because this is how you can use this energy for the greater good, for the greater collective, you know, success in the world. You know, we need to be able to have realistic rules and regulations around how we live and where we live, and how we can, you know, affordably have possessions that people need. Clothes, shelter, food, all those resources. So get on it, guys. We're depending and looking to you right now, my friends. Your own self-worth and self-value is something getting passionate about right now too. Start taking action to really enhance your sense of value, your sense of worth. Often we get downtrodden through our childhood, and we're told we're no good, or we go to university and we fail a couple of subjects, and then we just feel like, well, what's the use in trying? I suck. So Mars makes you more desirous of taking action now to heal any old hurts and wounds, hurts and wounds that have impacted your sense of value and your sense of self-worth. You might like to read a bit more. There's a Mercury there that's saying, hey, let's read a bit more on how we can love ourselves better. Let's take a short course, Mercury. Let's do a quick self-help course, or attend a workshop or something like that, where we can sort of develop our sense of value, our sense of worth. Mars will have you wanting to take action on that now, Scorpio. This is the house of what we do to make ourselves feel stable and secure as well. And it's taking action. Sitting on your backside is not going to make you feel stable and secure in the coming week. You've got to use your Mars energy, take action to feel more stable, to feel more secure. And also, you know, this is how we go after money here, how we go after our resources and our attitude to money. Well, here it's being entrepreneurial. It's stepping out of your comfort zone. It's taking risk with Mars being activated. And I would encourage you strongly to think about doing that and look for ways you can do that in this week ahead. Especially if you want to channel the higher energy of this combination, I would encourage you to look at entrepreneurial ideas that are going to be for the good of humanity and create a more ideal world. Because let's face it, that's where it's at, isn't it? We want to live in a better world, all of us. And Neptune is compassion. Mars is being entrepreneurial and having a great idea that's going to lead to the creation of resources. So you might start some compassionate entrepreneurial endeavor that's going to help people have enough clothing, have enough food, have enough shelter, be able to pay their mortgages, be able to get out of debt, all this ability to generate resources. If you can come up with a great idea to that end, you're going to just do fantastic. That's one really powerful way to utilize this square aspect for the greater good, instead of being thrown into sort of a gossip and ruined reputation, hurt and disappointment as somebody's nimma about you spending too much money on fancy goods, and having a good old gossip about how you spend your money and why you I don't know, talking about you in negative terms regarding stuff, resources. You don't want that, and one way to avoid that is to use the higher octave of this energy, seek to help other people in a financial way through being entrepreneurial and using your creative force. Anyway, Scorpio, that is what I'm digging into for you in the coming week ahead. Now, Libra rising, Libra sun and Libra moon as well. The energy of the Neptune square with Mars here in Sagittarius is impacting your third house. Now, third house is movement, it's restlessness, it's short, localized trips. And here, bang, it's going to be really on for young and old. You're going to want to take a drive. And I would encourage you, use this energy and the positive expressions of this energy. Go for a drive by the ocean or a body of water, or go to a river and have a swim or something. Use Neptune positively and channel this energy in a positive way. Use that restlessness, go and be near water, and you'll find it will be quite fulfilling. This house has to do with what we're thinking about. And you might be very active in your thinking, especially with Mercury there, thinking about ways to be charitable, ways to help, ways to heal. Neptune is a charitable spiritual planet at its highest level. So you might be thinking about that. You might be thinking about unconditional love. You might be thinking about finding a soulmate. You might be thinking about how you can be a spiritual warrior. This is the nature of Mars, Neptune in the positive sense. It might also, you want to be careful what you're saying though, especially Mars with Mercury. You might be gossiping at this time, and that could ruin a friendship right now. So do be careful about that. Ruined reputations, hurt and disappointment. This is one of the houses of social connection and a house related to friendship. So do be careful about destroying a friendship through some sort of gossip. Seek to be calm, seek to be rational, as I said, and don't be surprised if you hear some gossip about yourself. Maybe one of your friends or a workmate or teammate is, yabbering on about you with something that's not true. That's no good. That's Neptune as gossip in here and aspecting the third house. So, try and keep it water off a duck's back. Don't take anything too personally, but don't be surprised if that kind of thing comes up. One good thing might be to get involved in and take action in your life by getting involved in some sort of seminar, webinar, workshop, which is what the third house is all about. Get involved in that sort of thing on a spiritual level. Attend maybe an online workshop or some sort of seminar that has to do with spiritual themes, higher minded themes, sort of dig into maybe a meditation workshop or something to do with maybe some sort of spiritual practice, and that especially if it's physical like yoga or something, that could be incredibly beneficial for you, utilizing this energy for the greater good, of course. Now, in a Libra rising chart, you're all sun or moon, but Mars happens to be the ruler of the second house of finances, so you might be spending money on a workshop, a meditation workshop. You might be spending money on something, some sort of glamorous occasion. Neptune is glamour, for a small business event that you're running, some sort of promotional marketing event, very glamorous, very dress it all up and everything, spending money on that sort of thing, because Mars rules the second house. Mars also rules the seventh house, and you might be involved with your Libra, a partner in some kind of glamorous workshop event or spiritual workshop event. You might be doing something with a partner or with a business partner or somebody that you're collaborating on. Maybe you're running the spiritual workshop or something like that with this energy. And that's what I'm seeing regarding my Libran friends. Virgo rising, Virgo sun, and Virgo moon people. You can look at any of those. We are having a square between Neptune and Mars expressing through the fourth house. Now, this is where you might be feeling some very strong desires. And those strong desires will be pertaining to fourth house things. So you might have a strong desire to glamorize Neptune, your home, buy some new sort of luxurious cushions or some new bed linen or something like that, and you just want it, and you want it now. Unfortunately, the square can prove sometimes problematic. So you've got an idea, oh, I want some, red satin silk sheets or something, and you go looking for them all over town and you can't find them, and I want it and I want it now. Frustration. So know that can be the case as well. You want something to glamorize and beautify your home space, and there might be some element of annoyance or frustration there as well. This is also the realm of the chart, my beautiful Virgo friends, that has to do with our emotional well-being. And you might be feeling a little bit rocked emotionally. Mars is passionate. Mars is like a very desirous and sort of almost uncontrollable energy. And here is Neptune sort of maybe bringing an element of confusion to our feelings. We're feeling passion. We're feeling great emotionalism in the house of emotions. And we can't understand why or where this feeling's coming from. And it leaves us feeling confused and foggy and irritated in the long run. Difficult planets or a difficult configuration like this in the fourth house can give us, can lead to anxiety or sadness. Not so much Mars as sadness, but just frustration, irritation, that kind of thing. So don't be surprised if that's the case. Try to keep calm. Try to, soothe the emotions. I'm not talking about going and doing emotional eating or anything like that, but more, soak in the bath. In fact, anything, water would be good, having a swim in the ocean or the local pool or something like that. Relaxing in water can be very helpful to soothe this energy. Wear light, cool, comfortable clothing as well, and drink plenty of fluids under this influence, my Virgo friends. This can bring some difficulty in domestic life. Neptune is gossip, and this is the realm of family and family lineage, particularly the maternal lineage. So you might hear rumors that your grandmother's saying something nasty about you, though why that would be the case I can't imagine, but or your mum is just going behind your back and being a real pain, that kind of thing. So try and water off a duck's back. Don't let it get to you too much, but don't be surprised if you hear something like that. And certainly be conscious about avoiding gossiping about your own family or running your own family down, lest you be on that, you've got that shoe on your foot. You don't want that. Don't want to create bad karma for yourself in that way. This is, if you want to use this energy for good, I would jump out into the garden. Mars rules tools, particularly sharp tools like shovels and picks and things like that. Get out in the garden. Use this energy of Mars to sort of cause something to grow or to make something around your home, fix a problem, fix a leaky pipe or something like that, or cut some wood or whatever. Use this energy to help your domestic life and your domestic situation in some way. And of course, if you can bring in a bit of glamour and beautification to your home, so much the better with this square from Neptune. Now, also Mars is the ruler of your third house, so you might be very, very busy because third house represents busyness and lots of planning, lots of organization. You might be very, very busy in your home this week. Lots of things to do, lots of things to organize. You might be running a small business from home or a side hustle from home that's really, going a bit bonkers with busyness. Also, Mars happens to rule your 8th house. So there could be some changes that are occurring in your home environment, some redirectioning. You might be doing some renovations with your tools. That's not a bad way to use that energy at all. You might be it might be changing homes, might be moving homes under this influence, or you might receive some kind of support from other people, some kind of material blessing or emotional support or blessing from other people, maybe with moving home or redecorating a home. There could be this is the house of support from others helping you with a 4th house situation, maybe some support for parenting, babysitting, that kind of thing. So that's how I'm seeing that energy move for you in the week ahead, Virgo. Leo rising, Leo sun, Leo moon people. Well, for those of us with strong Leo placements, we are seeing the energy of Mars residing in the 5th house. Let me get this right. Thank you, my friends. Mars is the recipient of a trine on the 27th of December from Neptune, and that's the energy we're exploring here. So this is where we have strong passions and strong desires amplified this week. This is the house of love and romance and dating. So Leo, you're going to be really hungry for some romance, hungry for dating, hungry for generosity and warmth and affection in your life. This is one of the sexual houses, the 5th house. So you want this, and you want it now with Mars here. So that could be good for your love life, yay. But also, it could also be frustrating because Neptune is making a square aspect, and you want something, but there's some mistiness around it, receiving it or getting it, or it's a bit ambiguous, or you can't quite get it in the manner that you want that love, that affection, that warmth. So there can be a bit of frustration there because of Neptune's sort of misty influence. Neptune here, especially coming from the 8th house, can indicate wanting a deep soul connection. We not only want sex and warmth and affection and everything, but we want it with a great deal of depth. We want our intimacy with, like with soulmate. And for some of us, that might be hard to achieve, or we're not with a soulmate, or we're single and there's no one in our life and it frustrates us, because this is Neptune coming from the house of deep intimacy. Okay, so practice compassion on lovers who are not not representative of those deep connections that we hunger for. Practice compassion on yourself as well, and practice patience as much as you're able to. Both Mercury and Mars are very fast energies. They're rapid, and they want quick results. And quick results may not be available now in this realm of life. So, the more patience you can exhibit, the better. Now, the good news is that this is a very creative house. Mars is a very creative planet, and Neptune's a very creative planet. There's a lot of planets that are high levels of creativity. Mars just wants to do. It gets in, it gets it done, it takes action, and it comes up with some great, unique ideas. Neptune is glamour. Neptune is glamour and sophistication. It's sort of, it's ethereal beauty. And so that comes into the equation as well. And here in the 5th house, it's creative intelligence. It's writing a great work of fiction, using your imagination to come up with some brilliant literary concept, especially as Mercury is actually involved in all of this as well. Wonderful words of creativity and glamour and refinement, with Neptune. But also it could be fashion. Fashion is often connected to the 5th house. Glamorous fashion. You might be getting out the sewing needles. Mars rules needles. I'm a Leo person. I'm busy sewing at the moment, loving every minute of it. That's exactly what's going on here. Creating that's a higher octave of this energy. Creating some sort of glamour. Using your creative intelligence to put together something beautiful. Could be any hobby, any skill, any creative outlet that you choose to utilize. Leo, that's where it's at, and that's a wonderful, wonderful way to use this energy. You might also be perhaps need to be compassionate to your children right now, caring of your children. Neptune making a square here. You might be frustrated with your children, but Mars energy, but there is a need to show patience and love and compassion to your children. Certainly, you might hear rumors about your children or gossip about your children that might sort of hurt or disappoint you. If that happens, seek the truth. Seek to maintain the relationship with your children if you can, and try and alleviate any of those salacious words that it might be flying around. Keep calm, seek rationality, and cling to your faith in the goodness of the universe. Now, Leo, Mars happens to rule your 4th house. So there are going to be some issues of parenting involved with this, how you're parenting, or maybe relationships with your own parents. The 5th house is a house of joy. 4th house ruler being in the 5th house can indicate a sense of blessing from your parents as well. That's another way that can exhibit. And certainly some luck and blessing relating to your home and domestic life under this influence. Now also Mars happens to rule in a Leo chart the 9th house. So in that sense, Mars is actually quite a blessed planet in the life of a Leo person because it's ruling an angular house and a trinal house. This is a fabulous combination when you've got the same planet ruling an angular house and a trinal house. And in this case, it's in a house of blessing. So I'm actually getting the feeling that for many Leo people, this could indicate some sort of miracle at the highest level of this combination. Some sort of divine blessing of luck and prosperity. I think that's really fantastic. You might be hungering for like foreign travel or faraway places, and it's just frustrating because you can't seem to get it together or book the ticket that you want or get the price that you need to make it happen. So there might be a level of frustration with that Mars trying to Neptune ruling faraway places and Mars being the ruler of international travel. But I think in the long run you will be lucky, my beautiful Leo friends. So keep hunting, keep searching for that, cut price ticket or that university course that you want to be able to undertake without ending up with a massive debt. Keep looking because it is possible it will manifest for you in the coming weeks. But yes, 9th house lord in the 5th, blessing can come. There just might be a bit of disillusionment coming up in the week ahead because of the Neptune trine. Thank you, Leo. Alrighty, Cancer rising, Cancer sun, Cancer moon people. Well, apart from the full moon occurring in your sign this week, which is going to be very exciting for you, you are going to have the trine from Neptune to between Neptune and Mars occurring in your 6th house. And this is interesting. This is where we will have strong desires, and because of the trine from Neptune at a highest level, we might feel very much like fighting for a compassionate cause, Cancer. 6th house is a house that takes us away from God the most through adversity, through hard work, through a victim mentality, and we could be feeling frustrated and angry, strong passions around how we might feel that we're a victim. Like life is hard, or we've got a lot of debts, or we have to work hard and we don't want to have to get into some hard work or whatever, and we get annoyed and we get frustrated. Mars here in a square aspect to Neptune. But these strong desires, if you want to use them at the highest level, at the highest expression, it is actually about fighting for a compassionate cause. And in this house, great placement to do so, because this is the house of not only where we can feel like we're a victim at the lowest level of this energy, but at the highest level of this energy, this is a house of healing, where we can be the warrior for the disadvantaged, the people who are in debt and who don't have enough and who are lacking in education, the underdog, we would call them in Australia. People, we're in this case we're waving the flag for the underdog and supporting them and wanting to take action, Mars, in a compassionate way to help people get out of their difficult situations in life. And that's one of the best ways to utilize this energy in the coming week. What can you do to help, to heal, and to fix problems in the lives of people around you? This isn't so much to do with, big activism and big sort of group political causes and that sort of thing. It's much more, how can I be a help, an assistance, a healer, and a fixer of difficulty in the lives of my neighbors and my friends and my family and the people around me. So keep that in mind. Now, it is possible also, this is the house of enemies, the enemies that we know about, that we're aware of. And so here, this Mars with Mercury squared by Neptune can lead you to, maybe some harsh words, some aggressive words, against an enemy or in a situation of conflict. And that can then lead to some sort of scandal or gossip or a ruined reputation for either you or the other person, hurt and disappointment. So I just remind you, as I said in the intro, keep calm, Seek to be rational, avoid being gossipy, avoid being salacious, and cling to your faith that everything will turn out right and that the goodness of the universe will prevail. So do take care. Also, I would just encourage you to take care of what you're eating. Neptune can be a bit deceptive, and you might think you're eating something and it turns out to be something else when there's a square to Mars here in the house of our digestion and diet and what we eat. Mars might be spicy foods, curries, hot peppers, that kind of thing. And you think you're eating, let's use an example, you think you're eating, a bell pepper and it's not going to be hot, and you take a massive big bite and Neptune's deceived you there. All of a sudden you're like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber, and you're pouring the tomato sauce onto your tongue to try and cool it down because it's just so hot. Neptune is sort of deceiving you with what you're eating, and it can affect your digestion. It can affect your well-being. Neptune is toxicity, so be careful of anything hot and spicy, hot drinks. You could burn your tongue, that kind of thing. With Mars being in this aspect with Neptune in the house of diet and what we eat. Now, also Mars happens to rule your 5th house. So I think if you do eat something funny, you're going to be okay, because it brings the energy of luck and advantage into the 6th house. So you're going to turn out okay. But also you might have, might not be you, it might be your children, because 5th house is your children, and it could be your children who eat something that they shouldn't, and then, they wind up in hospital with something in their tummy that they shouldn't. Okay, so just be very, very careful of that sort of thing. Children, or a lover for that matter as well, so be careful of lovers too. And also Mars rules the 10th house. 10th house lord in the 6th. It does indicate that you will be working hard over the next week, but bringing your mastery into an area that has to do with everyday work. So this is where we would see, say, a doctor, which is a 10th house high level mastery kind of high reputation occupation. A doctor working with the poor and the disadvantaged and people who don't have enough, Doctors Without Borders kind of thing. That's what that energy would indicate. But it's a transiting Mars, not a natal Mars placement that we're looking at here. So unlikely to be that you are the doctor, going to Doctors Without Borders or whatever. But you might be taking your mastery, something that you are particularly skillful at and at a high level with, and using that skill to help somebody who's in a place of disadvantage or somebody who doesn't have enough 6th house energy. So that's what I'm seeing there for my Cancer friends. All right. Gemini rising, sun or moon people. Well, we are seeing in this chart that the energy of Mars is in the 7th house, and it's being trined by this Neptune placement. My mistake, my friends, it's actually being squared by this Neptune placement on an angular house and in an angular house, which makes it much more prominent. Whenever we have things in angles, we notice it more, we feel it more. So here in the 7th house, it's making the people around you very Mars in energy. They're full of passion, full of desire. They want soulmate connections. They want unconditional love. They want to be a spiritual warrior. So, you might have somebody chasing you at this time, desiring you, wanting your love. And, as a Gemini person, you might be like, I'm not ready for this. I'm enjoying my freedom. Gemini is a very light, free kind of energy. So that could be the case. Somebody's passionately pursuing you. Maybe they're deceived about who you are or what they want from you, and they're just pursuing you. And that can be perhaps a little bit frustrating. So heads up on that one if that's not something that you're actually looking for or want. The 7th house has to do with agreements and contracts, alliances and commitments. I'd be very careful of entering into such things under this energy. I'd wait a few days until this energy is passed. So this is the 27th of December this is occurring on. Because if you do enter into some sort of agreement, it could lead to a scandal. It could lead to some ruined reputation because of the square to Neptune. and you could be disappointed. It might not be what you think it's going to be, this deal, this alliance, this commitment. So no making vows, no making promises while this energy is playing out. It's too scandalous, let's say. This is the house of how we perceive others and how we treat others. So you might be under an illusion about other people at this time, not quite seeing them clearly. Neptune making a square here to Mars in the house of other people. You might see them actually as a verbally aggressive, because Mars with Mercury can be verbally aggressive. You might perceive the people around you as being insulting or rude or antagonistic with their words or their aura or their energy in some way, but that could be a false impression. So I would just encourage you, my friends, because of Neptune square, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge people by the first impressions that you get here now either. Give them some time. You might find that you warm to them as that Neptune energy dissipates. Okay? So no quick judgments in that regard. This is also the realm of the chart that has to do with how we act in business deals. You want to be careful that you aren't deceiving other people, that you aren't pulling the wool over someone's eyes with a contract or a deal that's too good to be true or something like that. The square from Neptune can make your energy involved in some sort of transaction or business deal a little less than above board in its worst case scenario. So keep that in mind. Let's look at some good energy that's involved with this, and we see that Mars happens to rule the 11th house. So it can, if you can keep your integrity about you, this can bring rewards and gains to a business situation. I would wait until the square to Neptune has ended and in the next week or so, and then look instead to perhaps arrange a contract or what have you, because having the 11th house lord in the 7th can bring alliances and contracts, etc., that actually are rewarding and that help expand your network, expand your reach, expose you to big groups of people perhaps, and lead to some kind of dreams coming true and rewards and gains. So just hold off on the contracts until that Neptune square is no longer an influence. But also Mars rules the 6th house. So I do feel that you'll be working very hard, because 6th house is to work hard, working very hard with other people. If you do enter into some sort of agreement or arrangement or trade or sales situation, you'll be working very hard on that particular project or that particular contract, because 6th house is hard work. So that's what I'm seeing for Gemini. Thank you, my Gemini friends. Now, Taurus rising, Taurus sun, Taurus moon people. Well, we are looking this week at the energy that is playing out between Neptune and Mars, and it's exhibiting through the 9th house. So this is where you will be feeling very strong desires. I mean, the 8th house is a very passionate house as it is. Mars amplified in this way is going to be very, very very powerful, very passionate. So, you will want sex, you will desire intimacy and connection. You might be very hungry for unconditional love or soulmate connections right now, and it'll be driving you. It'll be driving you forward. But I want to just warn you, my friends, you may be deceived by pursuing such things now, pursuing a man or a woman that can give you these things, because it mightn't all be as it seems. If you meet somebody at this time, Neptune can put, up the veils of deception, and you might end up regretting things. So act with caution as you go at this point. This is a combination, especially with Mercury, for very passionate words and words of desire. So, if you're in an existing relationship, you might find that there's a high level of romance now, and that might be coming through with written word or text messages or spoken word in the bedroom, that kind of thing. A lot of lovemaking can involve a lot of talking, and dirty talk is what we would see with Mars and Mercury in the 8th house. So that could be fun for some people. The 8th house has to do with external sources of assistance, how other people can help us. That might be moral support, emotional support, physical support, financial support, material goods, inheritances, wills, payouts, windfalls, and that sort of thing. Now, you might be expecting something in that regard, but Neptune could be deceiving you. So you might be expecting to get grandma's, old Royal Albert dinner set or something like that, and you go to the reading of grandma's will, and lo and behold, it goes to somebody else, and you are deceived, and you thought you'd always get that, and then there's been some deception with an inheritance or something like that, and you end up frustrated. Mars can be frustrated by the deception or of Neptune in this regard. So this is a house of how we receive from others, and this combination it's not going to block you from receiving something. It's just that you could be a bit deceived about what it is you're getting and how it's coming to you, okay? You might be very careful, because this is a combination. Neptune is gossip, and it's making a square to Mercury, words and communication, with Mars, anger and frustration. So you could end up gossiping about Great Auntie Margaret, who happened to get the Royal Albert dinner set and you did not, and that could ruin your reputation if you give in to that gossip. It could cause hurt and disappointment and division in families. So do be careful under this energy. In the 8th house, it can really, if you're not careful, it can really ruin family relationships. All right, so other things that we can see here is that this is an energy for mystical healers, getting involved with shamans or Reiki practitioners or psychologists and astrologers are another thing. Be very careful with being involved with such people and getting treatment from such people in the coming week, because they could be deceiving you, or they could, you might think they're going to give you one outcome and they don't, and then you're disappointed and frustrated. Watch that Neptune. It's rather a nasty pasty here in the 8th house. This is a house of fast changes, shocking events, dramatic reversals, and getting out of a rut. And Mars with Mercury can bring that about very quickly. So, you can have a big life turnaround. In that sense, it could be a positive thing. If you're looking to get out of a rut, if you're sick of feeling stuck. Mars in a Taurus chart rules the 12th house. So, what's going on here is that you might be dealing with some old childhood wound, some hurt from when you were little, and here Mars in Sagittarius, 8th house, can give you a healer that might be able to help you heal that once this Neptune square is done. But the tension caused by the Neptune square might highlight it for you and make you realize, I've still got this issue, still got this deep psychological wound that I just wish I could get rid of. So whatever unfolds during the next week might highlight those things for you, where you're hurting, where you're wounded from the past. And then you can go about, once this Neptune square is over, you can go about seeking a healer, finding an inspirational person or some kind of psychologist or something who can help you unravel that issue. But certainly Mars, being the 12th house lord, might be highlighting those things, those hang-ups from the past. Also, Mars rules the 7th house, the 7th house in your chart, and it's in the 8th. So there's definitely, it has to do with the resources of your business partner or marriage partner, actually. And that square from Neptune does suggest that there might be some deception involved or disappointment with regard to the resources of a partner, marriage partner, or business partner. So that could look something like, you told your wife that you wanted a new fishing boat for Christmas, and all you get's a rod and tackle, and you don't get the fishing boat, and you're disappointed. Like, that's Neptune. You expect something and you're disappointed with it. You thought you'd be getting something, and you don't get it. So it could look as simple as something like that. You don't receive the resources that you thought you would from a partner, or from, maybe you thought that at the end of the year you'd be in a certain position with your business that you're doing in partnership with somebody else, and lo and behold, you take a look at the books and, it's what a disappointment. So 7th house lord in the 8th house of mutual resources that are shared with somebody else, and Neptune causing some disappointment in that regard. So heads up on that one, my friends. All right, thank you, Taurus. Now we're going to be looking at Aries, Aries rising, Aries sun, Aries moon people. Well, this is setting things up for an influence of the ninth house unfolding in your life. We're seeing that that the Mars is making a square aspect with Neptune from the ninth house and a conjunction also with Mercury. So this speaks to me of having a desire for maybe some like you want to get a visa, or you want to get some sort of immigration forms, or you're an exchange student, or you're wanting to be an exchange student, and you're taking a lot of steps towards that end, doing all the filling out all the forms. Mercury here, Mars is taking action. You really want this, you desire to get through all this paperwork and get your visa, or move to another country or something. But then Neptune throws all these obstacles in the way. You thought you'd finish the form, and here comes Neptune with another form to fill in, or another expense, or another police check you got to go and get, or whatever it looks like. So there can be some frustration here for our Aries friends as they try and navigate some paperwork regarding foreign affairs or international dealings. What else can I see? This is a chart that has to do with your grandchildren. So if you're watching this and you've got grandchildren, they could feel very far away from you at this time. You're not close enough. And we all, like at Christmas time, if we're not with our family, we can sort of feel a bit of the sadness about not being connected or whatever. So this Mars in a square to Neptune might give some feelings of melancholy if you're a grandparent and not able to be with your grandchildren at this time. So heads up about that one. This is the house where we can also overdo things and go to excess. And Mars might, you might think, I'm going to get fit and I'm going to get healthy and I'm going to get active. And lo and behold, you head outside for a jog and you twist your ankle or something like that. So be careful of overdoing it and taking on too much. Remember, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Ninth house is very expansive, and it's just too much, too quick, too soon. Mars energy is accidents. Mars is wanting to go, go, go. And here with a square from Neptune, you think you're fitter than you are, and you end up pulling a muscle or twisting your ankle or something like that. So just be careful about doing too much, taking on too much, and overdoing things and going to excess. It is a house of communication with the gods, and Neptune is sending an aspect from the 12th house. So it could be that you're receiving some sort of special message or download that you need to share with somebody, but just if this was me, especially as Mercury is involved, which is words and communication, also in a square aspect to Neptune, I'd just sit with it for a few days. Any messages that you get in your spirit to pass on to someone, sit with it for a few days and just see if you're still in the same place in about 3 days, so on the 30th of December. And then if you still are in the same place, then follow through by giving that person the message, because this energy is a deceptive one, and you don't want to be passing on rumors or messages that are just not helpful, or that ruin a person's self-esteem, or that actually don't do them any good. So be careful with what you're sharing and the message that you're giving to other people. This is where also Mars energy is where we can use it for the greater good, to fight for a compassionate cause. And here, this is the house in the chart that has to do with finding meanings in things, finding purpose in things, particularly our sufferings and our challenges, which is very philosophical. So you might look at your life and think, I really struggled when I was going through this particular experience, or when I had this circumstance in my life. And you can use this Mars energy for the greater good, and find meaning in that struggle that then you can compassionately, higher octave of Neptune, use to be a warrior for changing those circumstances in other people. Maybe you had a real struggle when you got divorced. Maybe it was really difficult, let's say, to find a place to live as a single person, and you really struggled with that, and it was it was really hard to find meaning in that struggle, that difficulty. Well, you could use your compassionate Neptune in the 12th house to maybe set up an organization, a charity organization, to help do up old caravans that can be a source of a residency for people who are just newly divorced and are trying to get on their feet again and find a place to go. So use your Mars warrior energy to fight for goodness because of the wisdom you've gained from having gone through a challenging, difficult circumstance. Use this energy, which is a big picture energy, looking at the big picture of things, and use it to fight for the good. That is one of the highest ways you could utilize this 9th house energy to not only receive blessing from the universe, but to be a blessing to other people. 9th house energy can be associated with being a blessing. Mars also rules your 8th house. So it's the 8th house lord going into the 9th. Definitely some spiritual insight and philosophical understanding that could come out of this. Some deep wisdom, deep knowledge that is likely to be yours as a result of the experiences you have around the 27th of December. Also, Mars rules your 1st house. So there might be some sort of blessing in physically for you. You might feel very, very strong and empowered now. It'd be a good idea to go for a swim, do something with water, maybe a row or a paddleboard or something like that. Go out surfing, and you are likely to feel very physically invigorated in doing that. By Mars, your 1st house lord, in the 9th house of blessing, with a square to Neptune water energy, and that's using that for the highest good. Thank you very much, Aries. All right, Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces moon people. Well, this is falling in an angular house for we Pisces people. It's falling in the 10th house. And this is, I'm actually quite excited about this because whenever you have things in angular houses, it gives a great deal of empowerment. We could really have a great desire for some sort of leadership now as Pisces people, and take certain actions towards gaining visibility in the world and leadership. We might be utilizing our words to speak some sort of truth in the sign of Sagittarius that's really coming from our heart. Neptune, our ruler in modern astrology, in the 1st house. Listening to our heart, trusting our heart, and speaking our truth. So just be careful. My one concern with this would be speaking your truth. Mercury, Mars, in a hard aspect to Neptune. Speaking your truth with disregard for the ruined reputations, the hurt, and the wounding to other people. I mean, Pisces, you're a very considerate, compassionate person anyway. I'm not too concerned about that, but that Neptune energy does perhaps allude a little bit to that as an outcome. What else can I say? Well, in a Pisces chart, Mars is your one of your best planets, actually. Mars is a very powerful planet for Pisces people because Mars rules the 2nd house of resources and financial gain, and it also rules the 9th house here of blessing. So wherever Mars is, it tells us about where we can gain prosperity and abundance and expansion of material goods, because that's what Mars rules in a Pisces chart. So focus on your career now, my beautiful Pisces friends, and you might see some expansion of resources, of abundance, expansion of knowledge as well. Just be careful about being deceived about any career work that you're doing and what it's going to bring you. You might think you're about to start a new job and you might think it's going to make you rich, and it just turns out to be, well, not much has changed. It's the same old, and there's a bit of disappointment that could ensue there because of the square to Neptune. What else can I say about this square to Neptune? Use your compassion, Pisces, and you're such a compassionate sign. If you want to work with this energy to the best advantage, I mean, the Neptune energy is compassion. And use compassion, take action for compassion. Like for some of you, like I'm Pisces rising, it might be a good idea for me to consider perhaps starting as a branch of my business, some sort of charity arm where I'm helping other people. I'm perhaps being a leader or taking on my social responsibilities and obligation by helping. Percentage of my my website goes towards helping and healing and fixing things in the world in some way. That's a Mars energy. To be a warrior for some just, compassionate cause when in a aspect to Neptune. And that would be a really good way for me to utilize this energy as a Pisces person, to use my position of leadership to help other people by being a warrior. Being a spiritual warrior in Sagittarius as well, we also see. So, you might be speaking out, Mercury energy, speaking out for some spiritual truth, some spiritual wisdom or philosophical wisdom in some way. And if you can do that again, that's also drawing in the Neptunian energy right there of compassion. And if we're speaking out on a spiritual truth, that's also a Neptune energy too. You might be being very creative under this influence as well, Pisces, and using your high level of creativity. Neptune is creative downloads, Mars is taking action, and Mercury is using words. So it could be like a poetic thing that you're putting together or some sort of action film that you're making. Use that creative energy in some sort of career project, and you will have a great deal of success as a result of this combination. And that's what I'm feeling into for my Pisces friends. I just will conclude by saying, watch out. This is like the 10th house is how the world sees us, and Neptune is gossip and scandal. So be careful, words here, what you say could be causing gossip, could be causing a scandal that could ruin your reputation, or you might be the one gossiping and it could be hurtful to somebody else, maybe your boss or an authority figure, and ruin their reputation. So be very conscious of how you're using your words and where your passions are leading you at this time, because it's going to be seen by the world, Pisces. Your actions and your words will be seen, and the society will respond in kind. So if you are speaking words of upliftment, grace and kindness, you'll be fine. But if you're really seeking to cause hurt or wounding through words and actions, then the world will know about it, and it could backfire on you quite terribly. So forewarned, forearmed there, Pisces. Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, and Aquarius moon people. Well, the energy of Mars in a difficult aspect with Neptune is forming a square between your 11th house Mars transiting and then Neptune in the 2nd house. So this means it will be exhibiting through the 11th house. You want to be very careful how you speak about your friends at this time. This is the house of friendship and also the house of large groups of people. So like I just spoke about for Pisces, you want to, if you're gossiping and slandering people, then a whole group of people is going to know about this. 11th house is large groups of people. So you might find that that's the case. Just be careful what you say. This is also an area of the chart that has to do with political parties and organizations and clubs, and you might be feeling like being a bit of a warrior and a hero, feeling very like I need to get on board with some idealism and start taking action. That's actually a good thing to do with this energy. Get involved in being a warrior for a compassionate cause, maybe some political activism. It could be some some act of kindness as well, that's going to lead to a better humanitarian society. This is a good thing to get involved in. This is where we need to keep calm and seek rationality, which might be a bit of a challenge under this influence. So you're probably going to have a lot of strong desires pertaining to your goals and dreams and your aspirations now. Try and keep that in a manageable sense. Mercury wants to plan and organize things. And so direct your passion and your drive into some sort of planning rather than, taking action too much too soon, taking on too much, too many projects, too many, activities pertaining to your goals and dreams, and then you just end up burnt out and frustrated under this energy. So a bit of planning, a bit of organization will go a long way to achieving your goals and dreams now. Don't be deceived. You don't have to sort of run a marathon straight away. You can build up to, what it is you want to achieve in life. We also see Mars here is the ruler of your 10th house, and this is really nice. I love seeing the 10th house lord in the 11th because it speaks as like a double whammy to rewards, gains, success. So this could also be the case through if you take on a spiritual approach, Neptune energy, pray about, your projects that you're working on in your career or the legacy you want to leave. Pray, ask the divine for help and assistance. That's using the higher octave of Neptune, and you might actually start to see rewards and gains starting to manifest and miracles starting to happen in that regard. Mars also rules the third house of small business. And so again, we've got this energy of business, we've got this energy of achievement of our goals and dreams and utilizing skills for success, that by praying, by inviting the divine in to support you, it can actually be a very helpful payoff. I would also suggest that you're going to be extra busy with regard to your goals, because the third house is a house of being busy, and 11th house is goals and dreams. And I feel that it's just like Mars with Mercury is such a busy, active energy. You're really going to be running. You might feel like you're getting nowhere, but you'll be busy just the same. Neptune can make us feel like our busyness isn't amounting to much or getting us anywhere, but it needs to be done. So take whatever happens in that regard with a grain of salt, and just do what you got to do, my friends. All right, thank you, Aquarius. And to conclude here, we have Capricorn rising, Capricorn sun, or Capricorn moon, people. This is where we've got Mars exhibiting its energy through the 12th house, but in a difficult square with Neptune. So this is an energy that can be very difficult to get a grasp on. We're feeling out of control. Our energy is quite wild, It even could mean that your energy is a bit subdued and you need more sleep than usual as well. So if that's the case for you, don't be surprised. That said, you might be having dreams that are very passionate now, very fiery kind of dreams, sexual dreams, that could be taking place for Capricornian people under this influence. You might be tireder, but you might be more active in your imagination and dream life under this influence. This is also the house of ancestors who are on the other side, angels and higher beings and what have you. You might be feeling guided towards certain ends, certain activities, certain circumstances. Use your logic. I would just encourage you with this to use as much logic as possible. And Mars is with Mercury, so you will be able to tap into that. Because that Neptune square could mean that things might look like they're fated or destined. Things might feel like, oh, the universe is pushing me in this direction and wow, how exciting. But if it looks too good to be true, it will be under this influence. Don't be carried away by your feelings. Don't be carried away by what your dreams are. Try and keep your feet on the ground a little bit, because Neptune could be deceiving you in some way, or the angels and ancestors on the other side might have nothing to do with it, and it could be just a deceptive energy. Okay, Neptune's a really slippery character, hard to define, and full of contradictions, I would add as well. So yes, you might need more sleep, or you might just need a bit of escapism. In fact, that's a good way to use this energy. Go for a walk. That's Mercury is to walk, Mars is to be active. Go for a walk. Get away from the ordinary every day. Don't follow the same old walking path that you always walk on. Go in a different direction, see new things, and have a bit of a break from what you ordinarily do. Use your energy. You might go for a walk is one thing. You could go for a bike ride or a drive as well, as a mechanism for escape. You might be very drawn to going and watching a film under this energy. Could be some sort of martial arts film with Mars being here, and Neptune is movies, and 12th house is movies. That's another form of escapism that could be very worthwhile to involve yourself in as well. What else can I say about this 12th house? I feel, Capricorn, like Mars rules your 11th house, and the 11th house Lord is currently transiting through your 12th house, and that to me says, try, if you want to achieve your goals and dreams right now and some level of prosperity, you've got to trust the divine. You also need to be very spiritual, like pray for success, pray for blessing right now. And you might like to involve some kind of 12th house mechanisms like, you want to achieve some sort of goal or dream, go to a very secluded private spot and write out your plan, your action plan for how you're going to get there. Because 11th house is goals and dreams, 11th house Lord in the house of seclusion and privacy, next to the planet, or with the planet Mercury, of planning and organization. So take some time out. Like, I remember years ago I went away for a weekend to a very beautiful resort, and that was quite an expense for me as a single mum at the time, but it allowed me time to plan and structure where I wanted to go with my life and gave me some headspace. Beautiful thing to do. I look back on it very fondly as a very important time, very grateful for it. And I would suggest that doing something like that, getting away from things for a couple of days under this energy, to think about your future, to plan where you want to go, might be a very healthy activity to do. 11th house Lord in the 12th house. Not only that, but Mars is also the ruler of your 4th house. So again, having a holiday, having a break, living out of your suitcase. 4th house is where we reside. 12th house is faraway places, or escaping in some way. Very much this energy, and I would encourage you to do that because it's the highest manifestation. Even if you can't afford to stay in a hotel or something like that, throw a tent in the back of the car and go find a national park and just set up there. Spend time in nature, spend time just out of the ordinary, and have a bit of you time to think about your future and to plan for your life. Capricorn, that's what I'm really feeling is a great way to utilize this energy in the coming week. Hopefully you get the chance to do so. I want to thank you so much, one and all, for being with me throughout 2024. I hope this week and this Christmas season is a blessing to you, and I look forward to many more such videos as this one in the next year, 2024. I'll catch you then.